Welcome back to Khooni Monday, the place where shadows whisper, and forgotten stories crawl back to life. Tonight, we step into the heart of Japan, a land where tradition and modern life merge, and where ancient spirits still linger in the cracks of neon cities. This is not just a journey into haunted houses or dark alleys. It is a descent into the disturbing world of Japanese urban legends, where every corner hides a chilling tale. So dim the lights, hold your breath, and let's begin. The Whispering Woman, Kuchisake-onna. Our first story begins on a quiet Tokyo street at night. A young man, walking home from cram school, feels the chill of someone behind him. He turns, and there she is. A woman in a surgical mask. Innocent enough, right? After all, many people in Japan wear masks for health reasons. But then, she stops. She tilts her head and asks a question in a sweet but strangely hollow voice. Am I pretty? The boy nervously nods. Yes, she's pretty. That's when she removes the mask, revealing her face split open from ear to ear, a grotesque grin carved permanently into her skin. She asks again, louder this time. How about now? This is Kuchisake-onna, the Slit-Mouthed Woman, one of Japan's most infamous urban legends. Stories of her terror date back to the late 1970s, when children claimed to be stalked by a masked woman who would chase them down. Some versions say if you answer, no, she kills you instantly. If you say, yes, she slashes your mouth to look like hers. The only way to escape. Confuse her. Give an answer that throws her off balance, like, you're average, and run while she hesitates. Others say tossing candy can distract her, since she cannot resist sweets. Imagine walking home late at night, and every masked stranger could be her. The ghost in the restroom, Hanako-san. In Japan, even school bathrooms are not safe from horror. Ask any student, and they will whisper about Hanako-san, the spirit of a young girl who haunts the third stall of the girls' restroom. The ritual is simple, but terrifying. Knock 3 times on the stall door and ask, Hanako-san, are you there? If she answers yes, you've awakened her. Some say she appears as a pale, blood-stained girl in a red skirt. Others say a ghostly hand reaches out from under the stall, grabbing the unlucky visitor. But where did this legend come from? Some believe Hanako-san was a schoolgirl killed in a World War II air raid, trapped forever in the bathroom where she hid. Others say she was bullied and took her own life inside a restroom stall. Regardless of the origin, generations of children still dare each other to summon her. Many laugh at the idea, until the lights flicker, the door creaks, and they swear they hear a faint whisper, I'm here. The Red Room Curse. Next, we dive into the digital age. Japan's urban legends are not just tied to temples or alleys, they live in the internet as well. The Red Room Curse began as a rumor spread online in the early 2000s. The story goes like this: a pop-up suddenly appears on your computer screen. It shows a red door and a question in a haunting voice, do you like the red room? If you close the window, it comes back again and again, until finally, you vanish. Later, your body is found in your own room, painted in blood, every wall covered in red. Many Japanese teenagers whispered about this curse as they explored the early days of the internet. It was so infamous that it inspired real online flash animations. Parents warned their children not to search for it. But curiosity is dangerous. Because when you start searching for the red room may already be searching for you. Teke, the vengeful half-girl. Our next legend is one of the most gruesome in Japan's horror folklore. Late at night, a student hurries home along a train track shortcut. Suddenly, he hears it, a chilling, scraping sound. Teke. From the shadows crawls a figure. A girl, cut in half at the waist, dragging herself with clawed hands. Her upper torso moves unnaturally fast, her eyes filled with rage. This is Teke. The story says she was once a schoolgirl who fell on the train tracks and was cut in 2 by an oncoming train. Instead of finding peace, her spirit returned as a predator. Now she haunts train stations and deserted roads, hunting anyone who crosses her path. If she catches you, she slices you in half, so you look just like her. Many parents in Japan still warn their kids not to loiter near train tracks at night. Because in the distance, the sound of scraping might not be the wind, it might be Teke racing toward you. Okiku's Well, the Cursed Doll. Our final tale tonight is about betrayal, revenge, and a never-ending count. Okiku was a servant girl in the 17th century. She worked in the household of a samurai who desired her. But she refused his advances. Enraged, the samurai tricked her, he hid one of 10 valuable plates she was responsible for and accused her of theft. Terrified and dishonored, Okiku threw herself into a well. But death was not the end. From that day on, her ghost haunted the castle. Every night, her voice could be heard counting. 1, 2, 3. She would count up to 9. But when she reached 10, she would let out a blood-curdling scream, reminding all that the missing plate could never be found. Even now, tourists who visit Himeji Castle claim to feel her presence near the old well. Some swear they hear faint counting carried by the wind. But there is another Okiku legend, about a doll. In 1918, a young boy bought a doll for his little sister, Okiku. When the girl tragically died, her spirit supposedly entered the doll. The doll's hair began to grow, and even after barbers cut it, it would grow again. Today, this haunted doll is kept at Minenji Temple in Hokkaido, and its hair still continues to grow. Closing narration. These are only a few of the chilling stories that live within Japanese urban folklore. Stories whispered in classrooms, told at sleepovers, and spread across the internet. But here's the question, why do these legends survive? Perhaps because fear itself is contagious. Once you hear them, you can't unhear them. You tell them to a friend, who tells another, until the story becomes immortal. So the next time you find yourself walking alone down a quiet Tokyo street, or scrolling late at night through the endless pages of the web, remember, Japan's spirits are patient. They've been waiting for centuries. And if you listen to the power of 7N closely, you might just hear them whisper your name. Welcome back to Khooni Monday, where every shadow hides a story, and every story takes you closer to the darkness. Last time, we explored some of Japan's most terrifying legends, Kuchisake-onna, Hanako-san, Teke, and more. But tonight, we go deeper. These tales are darker, more twisted, and perhaps even more dangerous to hear. So, if you're still brave enough to be here, turn off the lights, put on your headphones, and prepare yourself. This is part 2 of the Japanese Urban Horror Legends collection. AKA Manto, the Red Cloak. Imagine this. You're in a public restroom, late at night. The stalls are empty, the building is silent, and you sit there, trying not to think about how vulnerable you feel. Then suddenly, you hear a voice. A deep, masculine voice. Would you like red paper, or blue paper? This is AKA Manto, the Red Cloak. According to the legend, AKA Manto is a malicious spirit that appears in bathrooms. Especially school restrooms. He wears a long red cloak and a mask that hides his face. The question he asks is simple, but deadly. If you choose red paper, you're brutally murdered, your body left covered in blood. If you choose blue paper, you're strangled until your face turns blue. Some say if you try to be clever and choose another color, you vanish into the toilet forever, dragged into the underworld. The only way to survive is to refuse him, ignore the question, or run before he reacts. Children in Japanese schools whisper about him to this day, daring each other to stay late and use the bathroom alone. But beware, if you ever hear that voice asking about red or blue, do not answer. Gozu, the cow head. Our next story is so terrifying that some say it cannot even be told. Gozu, or cow head, is a mysterious legend about a cursed story itself. The tale is so horrifying that people who hear it either faint, go insane, or die from fear. It is said that a schoolteacher once decided to tell the story of Gozu during a field trip. As he began reading, the students begged him to stop. They screamed and covered their ears, but the teacher was possessed by the story and couldn't control himself. When he finally finished, the students were found collapsed on the ground, trembling, with foam at their mouths. The exact content of the cow head story has been lost, or perhaps hidden, because it's too dangerous to repeat. In modern times, websites and books often claim to hold the story of Gozu, but they always cut off mid-sentence. Nobody knows the full version. And maybe, that's for the best. Because what if you read it, and it reads you back? Jinmenken, the dog with a human face. Late at night in Tokyo, delivery drivers sometimes whisper about strange sightings on the empty roads. A stray dog, running past, but when you look closer, its face is not that of a dog. It's human. This is the Jinmenken, the dog with a human face. Legends say these creatures appear mostly at night, sprinting through alleyways and highways. Their faces are eerily human, sometimes with sorrowful eyes, other times with mocking expressions. Some say they can even speak, warning people to stay away. The origins of the Jinmenken go back to the Edo period, when people believed they were spirits of humans who had died in shame. In modern times, many connect sightings to urban loneliness, a symbol of humans turning into strays in the endless city. But whether real or symbolic, imagine walking home, hearing the sound of claws on pavement, only to see a pair of human eyes staring back at you, from a dog's body. Kisaragi Station, the train to nowhere. Now we step into one of Japan's eeriest modern legends, a tale born from the internet but chilling enough to feel real. It begins with a forum post. A young woman named Hasumi writes online about a strange experience. She boarded a train as usual, but the stops didn't look familiar. Hours passed, and the train didn't slow down. Finally, it stopped at a station she'd never heard of, Kisaragi Station. The platform was deserted. The signs were old. There was no exit, no staff, no people. Other users on the forum tried to guide her, telling her to retrace her steps, to leave the station. But her posts became more desperate. She wrote that she heard drums in the distance. That strange figures were moving in the shadows. That her phone's GPS showed nothing but blankness. Her final post was short. They're coming. I have to run. After that, silence. Nobody ever heard from her again. To this day, people claim that if you board the wrong train late at night, you might end up at Kisaragi Station. A station that doesn't exist on any map. And once you arrive, you may never leave. The woman of the gap, Kuchisake-onna. Do you ever feel uncomfortable standing near a gap, between a wall and furniture, or the dark space under your bed? Maybe you should. Because that is where the woman of the gap hides. She is a vengeful spirit who lives in the narrow spaces of our world. She waits in the dark gaps, watching silently. And if you make the mistake of meeting her eyes, she drags you into her void, a world of eternal darkness. Children in Japan are often warned not to peer into dark cracks or under beds. But adults, too, whisper about the woman of the gap, claiming to see pale eyes staring back at them from impossible spaces. So the next time you drop something behind your dresser and reach down to grab it, think carefully. What if a cold hand grabs yours back? Tomino's Hell, the poem of death. Finally, we end tonight with a cursed piece of writing. A poem so dangerous that people say reading it aloud brings disaster, illness, or even death. It's called Tomino's Hell. Written by Seijo Yaso in 1919, the poem describes a boy named Tomino, who descends into a nightmarish journey after his death. The verses speak of suffering, blood, punishment, and endless torment. On its own, the poem is eerie. But legends say that when it is read aloud, especially with emotion, the curse awakens. Several stories claim that those who recited it out loud died in accidents, or were struck with mysterious illnesses. Today, Japanese horror fans often challenge themselves by reading Tomino's Hell, recording videos of the attempt. Some laugh it off. But others, never upload again. Would you dare to read it aloud? Or would you rather keep the curse sealed on the page? Closing narration. And so, we close the second chapter of our journey into Japanese urban horror. From haunted bathrooms to cursed trains, from human-faced dogs to poems that kill, these stories reveal something deeper. They show us the fears of a society where the modern world collides with ancient spirits, where technology becomes a new stage for curses, and where the line between legend and reality blurs. Some of these stories began centuries ago. Others only surfaced in recent decades. But all of them carry the same warning: the unknown is never far away. Sometimes it's hiding under your bed. Sometimes it's waiting on a train. Sometimes it's already in your hands, as you read or listen to these very words.